Live now to the Assistant Treasurer and Financial Services Minister, Stephen Jones. A bit to talk about at the moment, particularly the breaking news that we have this morning, that Joe Biden will not be coming to Australia for the Quad next week, and now doubts as to whether the Quad will in fact go ahead without him. So, Stephen, good morning to you. What's your response to Joe Biden not coming?
Look, obviously disappointed. The Quad meeting, obviously incredibly important part of our national security architecture, but we all understand that home comes first, and all of us as elected representatives know that you've got to deal with the issues immediately in front of you, your domestic issues first. The Quad will go ahead, and those important national security discussions will proceed, and we look forward to seeing President Biden come to Australia sometime in the near future.
OK, so how does it go ahead? I mean, have you had confirmation from Japan and India that they will still be on the way out here?
Well, we understand that, my understanding is the information available to me is the meeting will proceed. There'll be obviously the Prime Minister of India and the Prime Minister of Japan still in attendance, and hopefully senior representatives of the United States, and that's on the best information available to me at the moment. Obviously, this is coming in pretty hot at the moment.
No doubt. So, as your information suggests that the Prime Minister, President Biden, will attend virtually?
Look, again, this is coming in pretty hot at the moment, Pete, but my understanding is the meeting will proceed, and if it's not the President himself, then senior representatives, all of the countries involved in this alliance understand the importance of our nations working closely together on all the challenges that we face in our region.
OK, on to matters closer to home now. The economy, still hawkish language, Stephen, coming from the RBA. Is that a proof point that inflation still isn't under control, and perhaps confirmation as well that some of your budget policies will keep inflation higher for longer?
Oh, let's break this down. Is inflation unacceptably high? Yes, it is. And we understand that this is a tax on households, particularly low-income households who are paying more for everything. So we've got a shared interest in ensuring that inflation comes down, and our budget was aimed at ensuring that our fiscal policy doesn't make the job of the Reserve Bank harder. All of our investments, those particularly in relation to energy relief and rental relief, will actually have a downward pressure on inflation, and we're confident that the measures we've put in place, and in fact this is an opinion shared by the majority of bank economists, they understand the size of the fiscal spend is modest in terms of the economy as a whole. We've got a shared job to do to bring inflation down. I think the things that were most important, I've got to say, in the Reserve Bank minutes that were published yesterday, is the focus on productivity, and our investments, particularly in jobs, in skills, in energy, and our National Reconstruction Fund, are aimed at that challenge.
OK. But will you have to rewrite your housing platform at Labor's National Conference in August, as some in the left flank of the party wish to do so?
The great thing about the Labor Party is that we have our debates in public. We don't do them behind closed doors at our national conference. And we've got passionate people with strong views about what we need to do to deal with the housing challenge. The Prime Minister has been quite firm that he intends to ensure that we honour the commitments we made at the last election. But that won't take away from our desire to ensure that we are building more houses and ensuring that we are putting roofs over the heads of Australians, particularly those who are homeless. That's why it's so important, Pete, that we get our Housing Australia Future Fund through the Senate. The Greens, the Coalition, the Unholy Alliance needs to step aside. Let this fund pass through the Senate, so we can get on with the job of funding and building more houses.
Are you open to amending that housing fund, though, which the opposition leader on this program a short while ago called a Ponzi scheme?
Oh, look, the opposition leader's standard setting is no, 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 no. The government's view is yes, yes, yes to building more houses and ensuring that we can get supply moving again.
But the fund is a gamble, though, isn't it? That's what he's referring to. It's a gamble.
But like what we're not going to do, and the propositions put to us by the Greens, a day or two after the ink wasn't even dry on the budget, and the Greens were proposing we tip billions more into this fund. We're not for doing that. We've got a broad plan for addressing housing.
Yeah.
The Housing Australia Future Fund is a part of it, and the Greens should get on board.
Hey, just a final one back on the US debt ceiling. If that breaches, would you expect any flow-on effect here in Australia?
Look, Australia is not hermetically sealed from the impact of what's going on around the rest of the world. And of course, as one of the biggest economies in the world, what happens in the US is going to impact us here in Australia. But in relation to that particular issue, no, we wouldn't anticipate that issue in and of itself.
Okay, so our economy you wouldn't expect our economy to crash?
So no, I'm not. Look, of course, as Australia, as a globally linked trading nation, is impacted by things that are going on in the rest of the world, and the Treasurer has been very clear about the fact that we're facing tough headwinds through what's going on in the war in Europe, what's going on in North America, the disruptions in supply chains out of China. All of these things impact us. They're the principal cause, by the way, of the inflation that Australians are feeling at the moment. Our strategies are designed to deal with that, but I don't think any one of those impacts those issues that you've raised will have an outsized impact on the issues that we're dealing with in Australia at the moment.
Stephen Jones, good to have you with us. We'll chat to you again soon.
Good to be with you.